So, kind of shifting over to the discussion of like the band members in general, I actually had an interview with Yogi back in January, and kind of like right before Run Through the Desert was taking off, and like in a break with Chris Cornell, and I asked him about like what his plans were with Black Robot, and he actually said that it was more of your project, and he has little to do with it other than co-writing a couple songs. Did his role change or evolve over time?
Well, it's no secret that Yogi is one of the premium guitar players that would get hired to do a lot of things for people. I mean, Cornell hired him to do it, but also Yogi has a band called Run Through the Desert, and I think that's what you were interviewing him on.
Yeah.
So, what he's doing, he's giving that a full campaign, and he doesn't want to kind of. I think what he was doing in that interview is not trying to make it look like he's got a lot of hookers and different buyers, and he just wanted everyone to know that that's his main project. And in this project, he came in kind of like we started off saying like, hey, Yogi, I want to make this record. I want to have you involved, and he showed up and he played a lot of great guitar on the record, and he helped us write a couple of really, really good songs. But he made it very clear that he's got his Run Through the Desert project that he's doing, and that he has a commitment to Chris Cornell.
Mm-hmm.
So I think basically that's the kind of answer that you were getting from there. But he's a good friend. He's one of my best friends, and he expressed some interest in the possibility of touring on it. So if his schedule permits, I think we'll be seeing Yogi get up on stage with us.
All right. And kind of directing this towards Huck, I know you've probably been asked this a million times, but before, with the whole Velvet Revolver situation, when you were asked to audition that before they found Scott Weiland, what went through your mind when that opportunity presented itself to you?
Well, I got a phone call around 9 in the morning. I had been in Los Angeles, I don't know, maybe 7 months, and I remember getting that call from Slash and just I hung up on him. They called me at 9 a.m. I thought, there's no fucking way. First off, Slash me up at 9 a.m. Secondly, he called me for. So it's like, hey man, this is Slash. And I went, yeah, whatever, fuck off, JB, and hung up the phone. and then, then the phone rang, I don't know, about an hour and a half later. And it's like, no, don't hang up, it's me, Slash. And the whole nutshell of that situation was, they were looking for a guy that was very Scott Weiland-esque, and was presenting me that way. It was presented that they already had the songs in order, they had everything ready, they just wanted to plug in and say that they were looking for the right guy. And at the time, my whole reason for relocating was because I wanted to do the work and find out what kind of artist I could be. And I passed up a lot of opportunities in Detroit for the same reason. I wanted to see what I could do as a solo artist, as Huck Johns, and see what I could get into that way. And, it just didn't make sense to me, their business plan when it came to that. And in my humble opinion, I was like, why don't you just go get Scott Weiland? I mean, he was ultimately one of the, if not the favorite singer that I could think of at the time. I mean, I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
Obviously, and kind of, he adapted a lot of his ways and things because out of influence, because he was one of my heroes. And I just thought that when that was mentioned to me, that it would be a more perfect fit for that band, and it's something that I would be a total fan of and go crazy over. So whenever that was said, what else would I say back? Would be, hey, I don't think that I don't think that it would do me any good or do you any good to have anything less than Scott Weiland in that band. So, ironically, a week later, I was watching that TV news and seen him walking Scott out of the rehab under his tent under a hood, in Matt and Slash, or actually it was Matt and Duff, and I thought, well, there you go, a little old me and my advice, it creates a super monster band, in some small way, right? So, I'm a huge fan of Velvet Revolver. I don't think it could have been any other way better, and I hope that they, continue to make records.
Yeah. Now, in putting out your solo album a couple years back, how did that help you grow as a musician, and then help you grow into your role in Black Robot today?
Well, I tell you what, I did a lot of growing up on that record because that was my first and only real record deal, and did a lot of extended touring, and I ran the show on that thing. I was on the road. I did all of the advancing of the shows. I handled all of the merch. I was the music director for the band. I had to put together that entire band, make sure they learned the songs, knew the songs, gave them all the influence that I could possibly give. I met with all the program directors, all the radio stations, all the stage managers. Everything was done through me. I had a manager that worked a lot of the ends of, the phone ends of things, from an office in Detroit. But out on the road, I had no road manager, I had no merch girl, didn't have shit. And what that taught me was how it really is out there for bands, and how hard it is to come from the bottom and work your way up. I developed a lot of respect for artists and who have success. Obviously, a lot of respect for the guys in Buckcherry and the former members of Buckcherry, and everybody out there doing their hardest in order to get their music out to America, and the world for that matter. So I grew tremendously. I made a lot of mistakes, and I had a lot of triumphs. At the end of the day, it was all about dollars. It was all about the money end of things in the business, which when you go in as a new artist, you have all these hopes and aspirations and things that you want to achieve, and realizing that there's a lot more to it than just having great songs and going out there and throwing them to the people, in the business end. So it got me prepared for doing what I'm doing now, which is something that I really love, that I made, with friends of mine. We went in and created the record, in a short amount of time, just in a way that I've never made records before, with a producer that really taught me a lot. And I was able to, because of my experience, open my ears and really listen to David Cobb and connect with him and take direction from him, whereas maybe prior I had been a little bit more cocky or a little bit more, thinking I knew everything, and things had to go my way. So it just, I guess that's the best way to explain it. It definitely enhanced my education in the music business, and also prepared me as an artist what I wanted to sound like and what I really ultimately wanted to be.
All right, great, thanks. Also, in kind of sticking on the subject of growing and learning about how the industry works itself, how do you think the internet has changed the way bands get successful and get fans?
Well, every Black Robot fan we have is created on the internet, and we're just starting to get radio play across the country. We didn't have that before. People that have come to draw to us are because of the fact that we've reached out via the World Wide Web and got them to listen to our music. So that's without a record company. That's without somebody, paying somebody a large amount of money to get your music out there. So that's the difference now what the internet provides, is the fact that the band can go to point A, they can listen, preview, see the visuals, and they get everything that they want right there in front of them. And if they want to go and purchase, then they're one click away from having that. Whereas, in the past, there's a lot more campaigning, a lot more smoke and mirrors, and a lot more shit for somebody to go and actually get a hold of the artist. So it sets things up for shows, it sets things up for merch. It enables us to do what we're doing now, which is to get the item out there to be, the songs and the CD out there to be previewed by the fan and let them decide, rather than some record label taking it and running with it and shoving it up their ass and making them realize that what they like.
Yeah.
Now use themselves, and we're the Black Robot. JB and I sitting here, and Andy, we're Black Robot, and we're not Black Robot via this company or that company. We're Black Robot via ourselves, and that's what the World Wide Web has provided us, and we're thankful